Tonight we are looking at a British classic, a show based on a famous character from the comic strip The Beano. Yes, it's Dennis and Gnasher, the animated children's show that follows Dennis the Menace and his dog Gnasher as they cause chaos around town. Dennis has two best friends called Curly and Pie Face. There is also Walter the softie who lives next door to Dennis. He tries to stop him in his tracks, but this usually fails. The show lasted for 2 seasons with 26 episodes being made. It was made on a £100 budget and aired from 1996 for 2 years. Okay, so now that we have the background, let's take a look at a couple of episodes. First up we have Here Today, Gone Tomorrow. So we see the town as birds fly about. We then see the postman walking down the street as some baby is going off. The nan is trying to calm him down. The postman then collects the letters from the postbox. As the policeman walks on by, he greets the shopkeeper as an alarm then goes off. He goes to answer it as it is a Dennis alarm. They are scared as he is about to get out. They panic and close everything down. The church bell rings as the women are scared. They all say Dennis is out as he comes skating down the street. He goes to the postman and rams into him. He skates by the ladies as all of a sudden the postbox the postman fell in comes rolling down the street. Chaos unfolds as the baby enjoys it. Gnasher is chewing down the tree as Dennis then comes home and gets greeted by him. The nan rolls on the postbox as Dennis says people know how to have a good time. His mom then calls him in for dinner as his father wants a word with him. So Dad is reading the paper as Dennis then scares him. Dad says his parents have come to a decision as Dennis wants to get out of the room. Dad says it is time for Dennis to have a haircut as Dennis screams the place down. The policeman is confused as he then gets caught up in the chaos. So Dennis' parents are trying to get him out of the house for a haircut as he say Samson lost all his power when he lost his hair. Dennis holds on as his parents then take him away. Walter laughs away as Dennis can't believe his parents listened to Walter. Walter taunts Dennis as he gets dragged away. Walter then reveals his plan to get Dennis a haircut so he would be the laughingstock of the school. So at the barber's other people are happy with their haircut as the barber is showing off. The kid ends up bald as Dennis then arrives. The barber tells his assistant to get his hedge trimmer as he then takes a picture of Dennis for a magazine. The barber can't believe how much hair Dennis has as Dennis then taunts him as the chaos catches up with everyone. Dennis jumps into the pram as the nan snitches on Dennis to the policeman. I'm not really sure what is happening as they roll on. So the barber is putting up wanted posters as he says no one has ever escaped from him. The wanted posters are going up everywhere as the barber is showing off. So at night Mom tells Dad to turn on the TV as they see a report from the barber about Barbers Most Wanted. They talk about Dennis as it is all very silly. They do a reconstruction. The parents can't believe their son is on the run as the barber finally has Dennis in his hands as he shaves all his hair away. This is then revealed to be a dream as Dennis reveals he has been hiding in the garage. So they go off in his go-kart thing as the barber is welcoming back his favorite customer. Suddenly Dennis arrives as the barber can't believe it. Dennis rolls over his foot as the kid then admires Dennis as he then runs off behind him. The barber is angry as Dennis is speeding away, so the assistant gets a call from other barbers as the barber then grabs the line. He can't believe that kids everywhere are no longer getting their haircuts. The barber is angry as then a news report happens as he explains Dennis is still on the run and the barber has called a very important meeting. Okay, so this isn't a serious show as I thought. The barber boasts about Dennis as the crowd can't believe it. They call him the hairy one as the barber tells the crowd to catch Dennis to show the kids everywhere a lesson. So the helicopter is watching traffic as they then spot Dennis on the motorway. That's very dangerous as the helicopter follows Dennis. The news comes back on as they just watch Dennis on the road. Suddenly we see a barber van come onto the road after Dennis. Dennis and Gnasher speed off as another news report happens. The kids are cheering on Dennis from the bridge as both news channels are fighting over the coverage. One channel gets an expert on as he talks a lot of rubbish about no one having a haircut again. The barber van is speeding around as the barber talks about a speed block. Suddenly we find out Walter and the barber are related as they laugh about capturing Dennis. Dennis is still going as they then bump into a bunch of barbers. Walter tells them to get Gnasher as well. Dennis speeds towards them as the barbers get scared. Gnasher jumps for a bone as they get away once again. The barber van then crashes into the others as they blow up. Dennis cheers on as the helicopter is back as they have been hijacked by the barbers. The barber has some jetpack as he squirts water on Dennis. He freezes as they then land and get Dennis in the back of the van. They ask where Gnasher is. So back at the barbers, the news reporter is reporting. They hear the trimmer as everyone is inside, waiting for the big moment. The reporters are watching on as the barber spins round Dennis. The barber explains what he is going to do as everyone admires that plan. So he gets started as Dennis' hair then falls off and runs away. They can't believe it as the reporters go to chase the hair. Mom is on the floor as the barber can't believe it was a wig. He is annoyed at Walter as he then asks for Walter's hair. Walter dashes off as the barber chases him. The wig then hides as Dennis then talks to us to say it was a bald cap. It was revealed to be Gnasher as they can't believe they fooled everyone. The postbox is still rolling around as they get hit by it as the episode ends with the police officer being annoyed with Dennis. Next up we have Dennis Ahoy. So in town everything is quiet as we suddenly get to school. Chaos is unfolding in the classroom as Dennis is edging everyone on. Curly and Pieface are joining in as the teacher then walks in. He falls into a hole then gets sprung up into the air. The other teacher asks if there is a problem as the male teacher says nothing more than usual. He asks the woman to get him out of the floor, so the teacher falls back into the classroom as he then announces it is careers day. He announces the policeman is here to talk as he walks in and falls into the same hole as before. So the policeman is boring everyone with his stories about saving cats. He then pulls out his handcuffs as Dennis then wakes up. He seems very eager to use them as the officer calls him forward. So he tries to teach Dennis how to use the handcuffs. Dennis handcuffs him to the radiator as the officer heads back to the station with him stuck to it as Dennis has thrown away the key. So the teacher is trying to get back on track as he then welcomes the colonel. He walks in as the kids hate him. He goes off to tell his stories as Walter butts in, but gets it wrong. The colonel continues as the gang then throws stuff at him. The colonel is scared as suddenly a pirate comes in and demands attention. Dennis can't believe it as they gather around to listen to his stories. Dennis is very interested as the pirate hits everyone with his bad breath. Walter faints as the gang can't believe the story. The crowd cheer as the teacher is pleased. The pirate asks if anyone wants to come with him as the gang want to join as the pirate says they have a race to join in as back at home Dennis is packing for the trip. Gnasher can't believe he is going as Dennis puts him in his backpack. Mom reminds him about his hairbrush as Dennis and the gang arrive to the ship. The pirate welcomes them aboard as he then pushes them off for some reason. They land on a smaller ship as the pirate welcomes them to his real ship. Dennis can't believe it as the pirate then says they are the crew as he gets them to clean up the kitchen. The gang can't believe it as Dennis then comes up with a plan as Curly says the pirate is bananas. The gang then see Walter on the real ship as they can't believe it. Walter talks about the race starting soon as his girlfriend explains the ship is her dad's. Suddenly an announcer tells everyone the race will start soon. Dennis tells the gang it is war. Curly can't believe it as Pieface just talks about the potatoes. Dennis orders Gnasher to peel the potatoes as they follow his plan. The pirate is looking at his map as Dennis is planning a trap. Dennis calls the pirate in as the gang then trap him in a sack. He slips into a closet as Dennis takes charge of the ship. The pirate is angry as the announcer tells the racers to start their engines. The gang try to get their ship going as Dennis says they need more power. The race is about to begin as the gang charge the ship up. They speed off as Dennis is going all over the place. Pieface doesn't seem to care as Walter and his girlfriend are just having tea. They laugh about Dennis not standing a chance as the ship goes off. Dennis's ship gets knocked out the way as Walter taunts them. The gang are angry as they get wet. Dennis then comes up with a plan to use the potato gun. Curly is not sure how it will work as Dennis tells him to get all the potatoes. Suddenly the pirate gets out of the closet as Dennis calls Walter. They shoot the potatoes as it gets stuck in Walter's ship. Walter's ship breaks down as Dennis laughs. They get into an argument as they take the lead. Suddenly Walter's ship blows up and starts sinking. Walter panics as his girlfriend tells him to get off the ship. So Pieface is listening to the radio as Curly finds out it is the SOS signal as they go to save the people. Suddenly we see some monster as it is following Dennis and the gang. Curly says it is really big as we see a whale. Dennis says it has bad breath. The pirate then returns to explain everything about the whale. The gang are scared of the pirate as they say it was just a joke. The pirate talks about the whale and how he took his dad. So Dennis is putting a hose in the water as he explains Gnasher will smell him out. They find out which way the whale is as the pirate says full steam ahead. They spot the whale as they then chase after him. The pirate is ranting and raving as the whale then heads towards them. They end up in the whale's mouth as Curly breaks the lever. So they head inside the whale as they get stuck inside. Suddenly we see Walter and his girlfriend are also stuck inside as Dennis can't believe it. Walter says it stinks here as they demand them to clean up the whale's mouth. The pirate joins in and says they have to do it, so everyone chimes in to clean up the whale. Suddenly the pirate finds his dad under some blankets as this is just very silly. They hug as the pirate says it is the greatest day of his life. Dennis doesn't want the credit as Walter reminds them they are stuck in a whale. The pirate then remembers the race as his dad says there is no way out. Dennis then comes up with an idea as everyone gets into the ship as Dennis tickles the whale. The whale then sneezes them out as they zoom out and take the lead in the race. They win the race as they then crash into the beach and beyond. They end up in some swimming pool as Dennis' dad then jumps into it. Dennis then boasts about winning the race as dad is stuck in a bucket as the episode then ends. Finally we have revenge of the robot. So at home, Dennis is enjoying himself as we hear a bunch of noises. Suddenly we see a remote-controlled car as Dennis is playing with it in the streets as it goes up and down the road. He says he has won the house Grand Prix as Gnasher laughs. Dad comes out shouting as he is stuck in a lampshade. Dennis tells the viewers to hold on as Dad is angry. Dennis then runs away as Dad is annoyed with him. So in town, Walter is walking around with his girlfriend saying he is proud with himself. Dennis watches on as they talk about Walter's ice cream machine as they are off to the Invention Roadshow. Dennis then uses his car to take Walter for a ride. Chaos unfolds as Walter lands in a bunch of fruit. The shopkeeper can't believe it as he then eats a banana. Dennis then laughs as Dad comes and snatches the remote. He says he is too young to drive as he takes the batteries out. Walter's girlfriend is looking after Walter as Walter then plots revenge. His girlfriend can't believe it as Walter pulls out his book and looks for an uncle to call. So Dennis is kicking a can down the road as he wants to control something. Gnasher then reminds him of the roadshow as they turn up and ask if anyone will build him a remote control. They head in as they then get chucked out. They then meet a mad inventor as Dennis is confused on why she was chucked out of the tent. She laughs away as Dennis likes her. He wants a new remote control as the inventor says she can do it. She heads inside as she goes to do it. She comes back out within seconds as Dennis then uses what she has made. He uses the car to cause chaos in the tent as Dennis can't believe what the inventor has done. So Dennis is out on the town as he wants to have some fun, but as he goes to press the buttons, some crane at a construction site goes off. The workers are scared like no tomorrow as Gnasher then catches what is going on. Dennis comes over as he can't believe he can control the cranes. Dennis boasts to Gnasher about the controller as he gives Gnasher a go on it. The policeman is walking around as he hears something. He runs to the construction site as chaos is still happening. He blows his whistle as he then gets caught by a hook. He then spots Dennis as he is then spun around. Dennis drops the officer in the paint house as he gets covered in paint. So Walter is talking to the chief police officer about his uncle as he explains he was in town because of the roadshow. The other officer walks in as they can't believe he has been denised. The inventor then reveals a robot police officer as the chief can't believe it. Walter boasts as the officer says they won't catch Dennis with that as the chief is mocking him. The officer asks for 24 hours as the chief agrees. So the officer is cleaning up as he says you need experience to catch Dennis. He then decides for some reason to dress up as a small boy as he tries to become friends with Dennis. So Dennis and the gang are in the treehouse as the officer shouts out to Dennis. He says he wants to join the gang as Dennis asks why he sounds like that. The officer says he fell in a pond. Dennis invites him up as he tells Pieface and Curly that he knows it is the police officer as he laughs to the gang. The officer comes up to the treehouse as Curly can't believe he is joining the gang. Dennis says there is a test to do first. They help the officer up as he gets stuck. He goes flying as Dennis then says it's time to get started. The officer then spots the remote control as he then controls a spaceship. It goes wild as the officer doesn't know what he did. So he falls onto the ground as Dennis then tests him as he demands him to put all the rotten tomatoes in his pants. He does it as Pieface then gets a smelly boot. He ties it to his noses as he does it. Dennis then forces him down a hill in a go-kart to the police station as chaos unfolds. The chief can't believe it as the officer reveals himself. The chief is angry as the officer gets arrested by himself. The chief fires him as Dennis and the gang cheer. So the officer is sad as he walks away from the station. The inventor says the robot is ready, but the chief says the robot needs a whistle. He turns the robot on as he then goes to search for Dennis. So the colonel is marching through the park as the gang is getting ready to shoot him. The robot then spots the gang as the colonel then gets wet. The robot then freezes the water as Dennis and the gang fall into the river. The colonel is thankful as Curly can't believe what happened. Dennis says there is more to do as Pieface coughs up a fish. So some runners are running around as Dennis plans to run them down. Gnasher pushes them down a hill as they try to run the runners down. But the robot spots what is going on as he saves the runners by lifting them. Dennis goes straight over the edge and into some mud. The robot laughs as Dennis begs for the old officer to come back as he wants to cause chaos. Gnasher doesn't know what to do as Dennis heads back to the mad inventor. She is calling her cat as Dennis wants her to build some robots of him and Gnasher. The inventor goes to do it as Dennis calls her mad, so the chief is relaxing as all of a sudden Dennis and Gnasher arrive in their robots as the chief doesn't know what to do. The robot officer arrives to take them on as Dennis says two can play at that game. But Gnasher's robot falls over. The two robots get into a fight as Gnasher tries to get his robot out of the ground. Dennis goes down as he then turns to throwing mud. It works as the robot goes off, drops his whistle and falls into the water. He blows up as the chief is so annoyed. The other officer turns up as the chief demands him to get Dennis. He gives the officer his job back as the officer pulls out the remote control and controls Dennis' robot. He gets stuck inside as he is then forced to clean up the police station. Dad then arrives to celebrate that Dennis is finally under control. Everyone arrives to take a number to get their turn with Dennis as Gnasher can't get his robot out to help. The episode then ends on that defeat. Overall, Dennis and Gnasher was a show that never took itself seriously as the plots were very outrageous and unbelievable at points. But that's what made the show so cool as Dennis was out to cause chaos and he certainly did. The animation style was a great choice and I would personally pick this style out of all the styles Dennis has been in over the years. I would certainly recommend this show for you to watch as it is just a bit of silly fun and everyone could use that from time to time, and who doesn't love Dennis the Menace? So thank you for watching. If you have any TV shows you like to see me do, put them in the comments.